Richard A. Brindle, Jr. was born in Washington, D.C. in January 1960 to Richard A. Brindle, Sr. and Maria Lorraine Brindle, and he is the oldest brother to 5 siblings: Robert, Susan, Julia, Christian, and Jennifer. What he remembers most about his parents, he says, is watching them dance. It was as though they didn't have a worry in the world. Anytime Rick could swing it, he'd go to work with his dad, who he says got along with everybody and had an incredible work ethic. His dad was with Safeway stores for 21 years and had a real passion for the grocery business, which he passed on to Rick. The first job Rick says he had that entailed candy was working as a night stalker for Safeway when he was 18, where one of his aisles was candy. Always having dreamed of going to college, Rick attended Frostburg State University and paid his own way by working at Safeway. He began to have thoughts about quitting school to work full-time for the retailer, that is, until his manager, Grover Baldwin, heard about it. Rick says Mr. Baldwin called him into his office and advised him to stay in school, telling him about the unlimited potential that comes with higher education, something he, Baldwin, didn't have. After Mr. Baldwin promised Rick he would give him as many hours as possible, Rick agreed to stay in school, and he says he is forever grateful. As it turned out, Rick graduated 2 semesters ahead of schedule while funding all of his own college expenses. This, he says, was a foundational milestone for him and his siblings, as he was the first in his family to graduate from college. It was while in college that he met Deanne, or Dee, and they married in La Plata, Maryland in May of 1983, as shown here. Shortly after, Rick went to work for Procter & Gamble as a sales representative and ended up as district sales manager for the Walmart team. In 1996, he joined Nabisco, rising to the position of Vice President of Global E-Sales before joining Kraft Foods as Vice President of E-Sales and Industry Relations, North America. During this time, Rick and Dee raised 3 children: Richard Arthur Brindle III, or Trey, Jamie, and Caroline. He also became an avid tennis enthusiast and is pictured here playing tennis with his hero, Rod Laver. Rick is very active in industry associations, including the National Association of Chain Drug Stores, where he serves on the Retailer Advisory Board and is the vice chairman of the steering committee. As one of 3 manufacturers allowed on the board, Rick also serves on the board of directors for the National Grocers Association. Other leadership roles include being on the supplier board for the National Association of Convenience Stores, the Industry Collaboration Council for the Food Marketing Institute, the Retailer Advisory Board for Retailer-Owned Food Distributors Association, chairman of the Industry Development and Advisory Council for the Grocery Manufacturers Association, and the Board of Trustees for the NCA. Rick is credited with developing Kraft's e-business strategic sales platform, which is regarded best in class in the industry. Since 2012, Rick has been with Mondelez International as Vice President of Industry Development North America. While he is often thought to be funny, Rick says he is actually quite strategic about his humor, using it to accentuate a point, reduce tension, or to get or bring back the audience's attention. We are not sure what Candy Hall of Famer Tom Joyce thought. His sense of humor, however, came in handy when he played laser tag at a national sales meeting. Disregarding the many warnings about no running, Rick decided to run into a cave to hide and pick off members of the other team. It turned out the cave was just a painting on the wall, and after he regained consciousness, he noticed a few thousand shots to his chest from his own teammates taking pot shots while he was out cold. The next day, he had to speak at the national sales meeting, and while his speech might not have been that memorable, the baseball-sized knot on his forehead was. As a proud alumnus of Frostburg State University, Rick was awarded Alumnus of the Year in 2014. Looking ahead, Rick anticipates watching his family grow and develop, and he has retirement plans to attend all 4 of the major tennis tournaments. Honored guests, please welcome Dee Brindle as she helps us induct her husband and best friend Rick into the Candy Hall of Fame.